Hi, I'm Van Johnson. I'm a chef. I'm here in my house and my kitchen, and I know a lot of people were wondering about what to do with certain knives, how to use them, how to sharpen them. So we were going to go through a few things today to maybe answer a few questions some of you may have had. We're going to start off, this is just a fraction of my knives, but I use them in catering and cooking and when friends come over for dinner. First, we have a French turner. And of course, it's a French spatula basically, but it's very thin and it's made for getting under things that may be stuck to a pan. It has a lot of, see the area in between, so you can drain the fat off and put stuff delicately where it needs to go. Easy, dishwasher safe, because there's no wooden handles. Now we have a fork, which is useful for turning, carving turkeys. When you hold a turkey and you can slice or roast or any other meat you may want, tenderloins. But this, of course, is very sharp. You have to be careful. I don't put them in the dishwasher, but it's a really useful tool. Flipping meat, vegetables, picking up things, especially for serving. I love this. And that one is a Hinkle's. And this is a palette knife. Frosting cakes, mayonnaise on burgers. They come in different lengths. Of course, I have some longer than this and some about 3 inches. Used for spreading anything. You have multiple sauces, put one in each sauce. That way people don't have to dirty it up and get other things on them. This is my Chinese cleaver. I have about 3 of these. This is a very good one. That's a Mundao. And it's very sharp. It's used for slicing, chopping. You can chop a chicken in half with this, but you have to be very careful. I'll go over the means of the claw method later. This is a butcher knife. Wooden handle, so I wouldn't put it in a dishwasher. Very sharp, so I'd be very careful when using it and cleaning it. But it's what you would use to maybe cut up a chicken, a big roast, or even this is what's used to butcher a cow or a pig, which I don't hate, but you would use that. This is a slicer. It has the ridges in it so that as you're slicing, air gets in between. And say if you're slicing a log of cheese, it'll help prevent it from sticking. Wooden handle, I wouldn't wash it in the dishwasher. That's a Black Diamond brand, which is pretty good. This one's almost 20 years old. Now, I have the same thing, but it's a shorter, and that's a Hinkle's. Same notches, just smaller. Of course, I have like 4 of these. After you cook for a long time, you'll begin to accumulate things. You'll give a few away, but not everything. Okay, now we have a serrated, what's called maybe a sandwich. It has scalloped edges. Now that's great for cutting vegetables, cutting sandwiches in half, cutting the corners off of bread. It's not super sharp, but it can be sharpened on a electric sharper and then honed with a steel, which we'll get into in a minute. Here is a paring knife, and here is my sheath. Those are protective. So when they're in my knife bag, they're not gouging the bag and tearing holes in it. Paring knives were used by grandmothers through many generations for cutting vegetables, trimming vegetables. You can even cut meat with them. It has many uses, but probably one of the 3rd most important things a chef should have. Okay, now we have the serrated blade. I have many of these. These are really nice. Very sharp, you have to be careful. Then again, sandwiches, cheese, excellent for cutting tomatoes. Now when they get dull, you have to have a special sharpener, but the steel works really well on these. few swipes of that, I can feel it already. It's sharper. You can go through a tomato. This is the best thing for cutting a tomato. Now, a razor sharp paring knife or anything else will do the same. But this was designed for that. Wooden handle again, well this one, yeah, that's wooden, so I wouldn't put it in the dishwasher. Now this is a restaurant style. That's a boning knife because it's made to get the meat around the bones of chicken, veal, whatever you're cooking. It's razor sharp. I could shave the hair off my arms with that. And it's made that way because the less effort you make when cutting, which means you're not gonna slip and hurt yourself. You always put your hand behind from where you're cutting toward. That way if you slip, you're not gonna cut yourself or anybody else. And you never have to use too much pressure. Now this used to be a bigger knife, but over a period of time, as you can see, where the letter is, it's been honed down to a perfect blade that you can use for boning, trimming. I've used this many times. And last but not least, the chef knife. That is one of the third most important knives. Actually, you have this, the paring knife, and your turner, which will probably be used mostly by chefs. But this one is razor sharp. Once it's been sharpened professionally or by a machine that I do own, same thing. You'll see people try to do this fancy stuff. I did about 20 years ago. But you can just place it down. And when you feel it, gentle pressure, you know you have a razor edge. So do this every time after you use it, and you have a razor edge. But these, like I say, are just a few of my blades that I use. I have lots more. Top 3 knives I have would be the paring knife, the chef knife, and a serrated. Because with those 3, I can, if this is sharp, I can cut tomatoes. This one, even when it gets dull, I can cut tomatoes because of the serrated edge. The little bitty grooves in there stay sharper longer than a regular blade. Paring knife is used for digging the core out of the corner of an apple, slicing an apple up into little pieces to eat or whatever. But you always need a smaller blade to maneuver with. The larger blade is for chopping. What I said about the claw method, you would hold something that you're gonna cut like this with your fingers in, and as you get closer, see where the knife is on my knuckles? Now if you bring it up, you can cut yourself, but you never bring it up. And then when you get the parsley or what, you hold your hand like this and chop your parsley, whatever you're chopping, rosemary, but you always wanna use caution because it's hard to cook with a Band-Aid. And once you get cut, it's hard to keep it wet. So you have to dry it off, change your bandage, put on your glove, and it doesn't feel good. So caution should always be taken. I have the utmost respect for blades because that means I get to keep my fingers. As far as sharpening blades, I would go with every time you're using it, and you feel the harder to cut, it's time to maybe hone or sharpen. Honing is using the steel, but the sharpening is using a stone or an electric sharpener. I have both. I get lazy, so I tend to use the electric. It's a Wusthof, and it works very well. But every time I finish using it, I give it a few draws on the steel. That will help keep it. It does not sharpen, but it'll hone. It'll help keep that beveled edge on the point of the blade. Thanks for watching, and if there's other videos you'd like to see about tools, techniques, or other topics, please put them in the comment below.